me cater to you. Let me cater to you. Let me cater to you. I wanna let you know, girl, that you live in I am what you do. I want me to reassure you, my life will be purpose without you. If I want it, I'm gonna ask you. Flying to you, challenge me for the better for you. Let me cater to you.
Hello, everyone. Hello. And I am so glad you are here today with me. And we're going to talk about something and everything. We're going to get into it. But I just wanted to say hello, and hopefully each and every one of you all are doing fantastic. Welcome back. That's the next thing I have to tell y'all. Welcome back, and welcome back to the channel. Then you had to come over here. You sure did. But you were like, let me go see what they're talking about. I know she ain't talking about nothing but a piece of shit. But it's something. And I'm going to go on over there and get me my little kikis and my little ha-has. Okay? But don't forget, as you come into the house, or when you leave in the house, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Come off that fence, come off that curb, come from in the bushes. Just come on into the house. And I say, welcome to my YouTube family. Okay? But as we always have to say, like, share, and subscribe, and comment. I like the comments, even though y'all be coming for a sister, but it is what it is. That is my channel. Okay? That's my original channel. And this is my second channel. All right? We need you all to go over there, do your thing, subscribe to the channel so we continue to grow. All right? But we know we have to use this fair disclaimer act. Everything we doing over here is alleged. Alleged. Get it into your mind. Everything you hearing over here at the house is alleged. Okay? Because we don't know nothing to be factual, because we too sorry to go into, just to go into investigating the situation. Unless it's just one thing that just picking at me, just gnawing at me, and I have to go see it for myself. But then that would be an exclusive. Okay? So, we don't get too much into those, but we got to have a talk. We got to have a conversation. We got to get into it, because this person that we're going to be talking about, child, I can't keep it undercover any longer. We got to talk about it. We got to have a conversation, and why don't we get right on into it? We got Jeezy running Jennie my crazy on whether they're going to stay married or not. I don't think Jeannie knew really who she was messing with. Okay? That's a strong black man, and he's been through a lot. And them streets, okay? Them streets know about Jeezy. Called the Snowman, okay? He was pushing a lot of weight here in Georgia, from what they say, because I don't know about that kind of life, okay? But Jeezy was somebody that could definitely, somebody could definitely try to take advantage of him. You know how people hold grudges and just that and the third. They'll be they'll be doing kidnapping and all that. I mean, got a little girl, Jeannie walking a girl to school. I don't know how many ops he got out there on his behind. So no, Jennie, you gotta move like you the first lady, you the president, honey. Get somebody to take her to school, okay? Or just drive her to school yourself. Park in the school parking lot and walk her to her class, okay? That's what I'm talking about. And I know she go to a very expensive school that's private, and only like the wealthy people of Georgia let their children attend. Okay? I'm just saying. Jennie, you can't go doing stuff like that. You just can't do it. But can she get Jeezy back? Yeah, personally, I think it's just a publicity stunt to definitely drum up all this drama amongst themselves. That's gonna be digging in her life and gonna be digging in his life, because the curiosity is the one that killed the cat. But it really don't matter. It really don't matter. But the whole thing was, hell, it could be a publicity stunt on my part. That's how I'm looking at it, not taking it too serious. Or he really could be fed up with how Jeannie gets down as a wife. And we already know he got several children, okay, from several different women. So we don't know if Jennie was the one that he really, really loved. And he wanted her to be a part of his life to the day he died. Because people done got so crazy about marriage now. They stay in a marriage 2 weeks, they ready to get out of it. They stay in a marriage like 2 or 3 years, they ready to get out of it. They have been in their marriage for 50 plus years, they want to get out of it. So it's just like nobody takes, well, I'm not going to say everybody, I'm going to say the majority. Nope, I ain't going to even say that. I'm going to say 47%. Let's go with that, okay? Treat marriage like shit. Okay, they already know if they ain't gonna make it, well, they have these options to choose from. So, if you want to look at it from that way, Jeezy had been planning about this, and he knew how he wanted to get down with it. Because it's just because you file a divorce, or you go and petition to have the divorce annulled, or just have it completely wrapped off the books, whatever they call it, the court record documents. You can always go and say you don't want to do it, and they'll take your name off the docket and then move on to the next person. So that's easy to remove a divorce decree. Okay, here in Atlanta, I don't know how it's done anywhere else, but you can do it, and it's you still just gonna be out the money that you spent because there ain't no refund. But I think Jeannie talks about her. Excuse me. She talks about her bad temper, but personally, she haven't shown it. I don't think she really would show it in the public eye. But if you really know her and you're around her, I guess you would be like, yeah, girl, you need to control your temper before you get, you blow a gasket and have to get, your heart looked at or whatever. But, I don't know, because like I said, she never showed that side of her in the public eye. Now, Jeezy, being a strong black man as he is, I don't know why she thought she could just say in and everything and do in and everything to him, and he wasn't going to speak up. And he wasn't going to let you disrespect him or make a fool out of him. Okay? So, yeah, she didn't get with another, I don't forgot who her first husband was, but she didn't get another one of him. It's like she got to run stuff by him, not saying he's the approval or whatever she's due, but just to get him a heads up. This is how I'm moving around today, this week, or this month. What do you have planned that may cause a conflict in that? Okay, that's all I'm saying. But he did a interview with the Breakfast Club, and he talks about his book. He talks about forgiving. He talks about adversity he had to face, and just dealing with the streets that he come from, how that is affecting him now. So let's listen to the audio of the Breakfast Club. They did with Jeezy, and we'll take it from there. Hold on.
Ran everything through my lawyers. That was first and foremost. It was actually a lot of stuff. Yes. Let's get right into it. Why did you decide to write a book? As quiet as you are about your history, your past, and everything you've been through, what made you decide to write a book? Statute of limitations is up, far as I know. Okay. So I definitely ran everything through my lawyers. That was first and foremost. It was actually a lot of stuff I had to take out of the book because I just didn't want to put myself in no crazy positions. But before I even say that, let me shout out to my brother right here to my right, because this book was something I had been working on, and I had one situation and it fell through, and I called Charlemagne. I was like, bro, who published your book? How did you get it done? And he pointed me in the right direction, and thank you for that, brother. Oh, I love my brother. He helped me get this done, so just know Charlemagne had a lot to do with that. But right now, it's just I just you know me, Envy, man. Like, I've been through a lot, and I started to get on this journey of like healing. And that shit just felt magical to me, bro. It's like, I just want to share it. Because even when I was in the streets and I was talking about motivation, that's what I really wanted to do, motivate people. And now it's like I got all this information, all this new knowledge, all these new mentors, and I'm just getting all this data. And it's just like I can't take it with me. So I wanted to share it. And I felt like, writing a song is cool,
because we pretty much anybody can make a record, but I don't think anybody can articulate their lives and put it in a book form and affect somebody else. And I know that I'm able to write, so this was personal for me, in the culture. And I'm hoping that somebody can get this book and really, find their way. I was lost as shit.
When did Jeezy change, right? And the reason I asked that is, since you started writing the book, everybody's doing interviews about old Jeezy,
right?
And we hear all the stories.
Right.
When did Jeezy change and become the new and improved Jeezy and less?
Oh, I can answer that just by reading the book.
when did that happen?
I mean, it happened a few times. The last time it happened is when I got locked up in LA on that Wiz Khalifa tour. It was just a reality check. You know what I'm saying? And I almost was, he basically tried to charge me with murder and my team with murder. And it's just like, I ain't do nothing wrong. So for me, that was one of the moments, like, no matter how successful you are, you know what I'm saying, they really still, and I just was like, man, I had to just switch it all up. And then a lot of things happened in the time that I was in jail that I thought some people was going to look out for me, but they didn't. And that really crushed me, because it was just like, I always look out for everybody, bro. Like, I'm always taking care of people. And I just kind of felt like you just do it, because you're a real one. And then when you start figuring out, like, damn, you might be the only real person in this situation, now you like, damn, I'm by myself. And I just had to, make a change, man. I remember just calling home and talking to my daughter. My first daughter had just been born then. And it was just embarrassing, man, to call, you're supposed to be this big man, this superstar, and you calling home, collect, from jail. And your baby's on the other line that can barely even talk, and she's, where you at? And you like, Daddy's gonna be home in a minute. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? It was like, damn, like, bro, you better, And so that was like the real time. But every time before that, it was just always instances where I just knew that this wasn't gonna work out for me, right? So I had to figure out how to change without losing everything. You know what I'm saying? Because it got to a point even with the music, and people say it all the time, I want your old music, but it's just like, that was my whole life. Like, I can't continue to give you something that I'm not doing. It's like me trying to give you some food in my house I don't even eat. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you get caught up in that, and then if you're not careful, you'll get stuck in that mindset, right? And you'll continue to do the same things. And that's why a lot of people didn't understand the verses. It's like, nah, bro, like, I started this, in my mind, I gotta put an end to this. Like, I went to Nipsey Hussle's funeral. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I was there. I felt that pain. I felt that energy. And I'm like, I don't understand why Nip is not here no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why it hit me so serious when Pop Smoke died. Maybe because he was in my studio when I threw Puff a Super Bowl party. I didn't even know who Pop was. He was with Meek and Fab and all these guys. He was at my studio house. We all partied. And I was like, who's that? They're like, Pop. I was like, okay, cool. The next time you hear about him, he's dead. But like, why he did all this work, to become a superstar and to get out of Brooklyn, and then you go die in the hills. So I'm just looking at this and I'm like, how can I be effective? Because I'm not trying to preach or teach to nobody, but it's just like, bro, on the other side of the bullshit, it's a whole nother life, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like peace and happiness, family, and real friends.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? People you can call and say, hey, and Jan's my heart, by the way.
Salute to Jan, love
Man,
Jan.
salute to Jan, like, she's my heart, bro. Like, we're really friends.
Absolutely.
Right? And she goes hard for me. She don't know my walk of life, but just imagine,
She feel your spirit.
Right. And it's a relationship, and that's what real friends are. They turn you on to other people, and people help each other out instead of trying to bring you down. So that's what the book is really about to me. It's about building and being and understanding, like, understand the verses. It's like, nah, bro, like, I started this in my mind. I gotta put an end to this. Like, I went to Nipsey Hussle's funeral. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I was there. I felt that pain. I felt that energy. And I'm like, I don't understand why Nip is not here no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why it hit me so serious when Pop Smoke died. Maybe because he was in my studio when I threw Puff a Super Bowl party. I didn't even know who Pop was. He was with Meek and Fab and all these guys. He was in my studio house. We all partied. And I was like, who's that? They're like, Pop. I was like, okay, cool. The next time you hear about him, he's dead. But like, why he did all this work, to become a superstar and to get out of Brooklyn, and then you go die in the hills. So I'm just looking at this and I'm like, how can I be effective because I'm not trying to preach or teach to nobody, but it's just like, bro, on the other side of the bullshit, it's a whole nother life, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like peace, and happiness, family, and real friends.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? People you can call and say, hey, you know, and Jan's my heart, by the way.
Salute to Jan. Love
Man,
Jan.
salute to Jan, like she's my heart, bro. Like we're really friends.
Absolutely.
Right? And she goes hard for me. She don't know my walk of life, but just imagine, you know.
She feel your spirit.
Right. And it's a relationship, and that's what real friends are. They turn you on to other people, and, you know, people help each other out instead of try to bring you down. So that's what the book is really about to me. It's about building and being and understanding that, like, it ain't never too late to be better, man.
One big transformation that's in the book, right around the recession time, when you decided to lose weight and everything.
Yeah, that's when I got my sex symbol on. that was a good time. Which part you talking about?
Well, you said you didn't like the way, all of that. You didn't like the way you were living. You weren't drinking no water. You weren't eating right.
Crystal and Waffle House.
Yeah. You decided to lose 60 pounds.
Yeah, I did. And the crazy thing was, well, what I really realized, like, because that was around the recession. I wrote the recession. The recession was the first time I, like, dialed everything back and was just really focused on the music. I wasn't doing no partying, nothing. I was just working out, reading, learning. And it was like, when I went out there to do that tour, that was the first time I felt like a star. You feel what I'm saying? Because every time before that, up until that, I was going through, you know, survivor's remorse. I was depressed. I was going through all these things. But now I'm shaking this off, and I lost 60 pounds. And instead of it being all these gangsters in the front row, now it's ladies, and they throwing brawls, and I'm like, I ain't never going back. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was the first time I really embraced, you know, who I was becoming. And also, too, I started to notice, like, when I was healthier, I was just making better decisions in life, bro. Because this is the thing, like, we all real. Everybody come from where they come from, but you only get one shot. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, you born, you look like your daddy. When you die, you look like your decisions.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, bro, it's just like, you know, I could have took a lot of right and left turns and did a lot of crazy things, but I was brave enough to start making decisions that I can actually live a life. You know what I'm saying? Rather than to look like I was living a life. Because that's what goes on in our culture. We all look like we living good, but are we really?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, are we happy? Are we at peace? You know what I mean? Do we got real people around us? All those things weren't happening for me. I was basically like getting up every day, playing this role. You know what I'm saying? And in it, but hoping I stay alive or free. You know what I'm saying? So imagine that. You know, you got the world in your hands, and it's just like, you know, it's not really in your hands, bro. Like, you know, you can wake up tomorrow and that shit'll be all gone.
Now you talk about changing, but also part of that was forgiving and letting go.
Right.
When did you get to that point? Because, you know, from, you know, where you come from, the streets is a lot of times we don't forgive, we don't forget.
Right.
But, you know, you have recently with artists, with people, with the industry, with everybody.
I forgive, but I don't forget. I had to learn how to forgive myself. You know what I'm saying? I had, because, you know, a lot of things, you know, we all make decisions, bro. Like, you're not going to be right every time, right? And you're not going to be, you know, true to your purpose every time because you don't know your purpose as you're going. But, you know, I had to just forgive myself first and then start to understand that if I have this hate and this malice in my heart towards somebody, it only hurts me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it only, every day I get up and I'm upset and I'm mad and this is how I feel. The person don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? They living their life. They don't care how I feel. And once I started doing that, it just opened up a whole nother, you know, just a whole nother me, because now I can go into a situation and I'm not taking things personal. I used to take everything personal, right? And now I'm not taking things personal. It's just like, I get it, bro. That's how you feel. I respect that. That's not my reality, so I'm going to keep it moving.
Why adversity for sale?
Because I feel like adversity was the biggest teacher for me, right? Adversity taught me so, like, losing taught me so much, man. Every time I lost, I just walked out of there and I'm just like, okay, what did I learn? And I started to break down, you know, just because that's what the value was for me. So I'd rather sell you that, you know what I'm saying, than anything. But you got to believe. You know what I'm saying? I can give you the adversity, but you have to believe. I mean, that part ain't, that's so separately. You know what I'm saying? That ain't got nothing to do with me.
I love the book, but do you feel like I still feel like you was kind of guarded?
Well,
Because there's certain parts you'd be like, that's a whole other book. You know what I mean? Especially in your time in making.
Yeah.
You told it a little bit, but you didn't.
Well, two things. The book to me wasn't about any malice, so I didn't want to throw anybody under the bus because that wasn't my intentions at all. The second thing is you got to understand, Charlamagne. I am still, coming from being a street guy, so I got to still live by moral code.
Absolutely.
Like I can't go out here and just, I can't believe I'm talking this much, but anyway. But it gives me a sense of freedom I can't front because I've had to sit back and not say nothing about a lot of things. But this is my story, my life, my perspective. But I'm not going to throw you under the bus in the process because I don't feel like that's going to help anybody, right? And for me, it's just like, if you know, you know. And if you don't, then that means you're not supposed to know. So that's as deep as I was willing to go to maintain my integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, you dropped it young, a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
So do you want to be known more as Jay Jenkins now?
I like the Jeezy Jenkins, though. It's kind of cool.
Jenkins,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, and I can only ask you, like, how you felt like being an author because it's just a different energy. I've been doing book signings, running around, but it's like, it's cool to read. And when you see these, these guys coming off the streets buying 3-4 books, you're like, damn, this, and they telling you, like, I hope this, helps me out of what I'm trying to do. And the crazy thing is, like, when you looked at Pac and everybody was looking at his whole thug life movement, he really just stood for something. He just had to word it so that we can relate to it, right? And you think about thug motivation, you just had to word it, but it's basically, you're standing for something. And when you think about Jeezy Jenkins, it's like it's been young. Then it was Jeezy. Now it was Jeezy Jenkins. So that's the evolution of everything that I've been, right? And I get to say that now as a proud, like, author, right? And where I'm from, nobody even wants to hear your story, right? So for me to be able to be called Jeezy Jenkins, that means you respect everything I am and everything that I've embodied. And I love that. That's like an accomplishment.
Was there anybody you had to talk to before you put this book out? Like, let them know, like, hey, I'm telling this story, I'm telling that story.
No, because I just did it from, just a place of being real and not having any malice, not like trying to, be, devious or, just like, So I didn't feel like, because when people tell stories, they just tell stories, right? Of course, everybody got their own, idea of what happened. So I didn't feel like I don't feel like anybody's gonna come out and say, yo, you ain't tell the truth about that, because we all was in agreement with what happened.
Right. Turns out there are more details about their divorce making the rounds.
Did y'all know that before they got married, there was that clip of her from her show saying how she wouldn't date a black guy?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Here's the clip he was referring to.
But for me, dark meat on the side, white keeps me mean and lean. That's why I married white man. That's what I like.
Suffice it to say, that was just a taste of what he seemed to have gone through while he was with her. And the words came from Jeezy himself.
And I feel like that everyone needs to hear that. It was a little bit of paranoia, a whole lot of post-traumatic stress, a whole lot of trauma, depression, anxiety, all those things.
Even the host noticed he was spilling all of the tea.
It's a thief.
Yeah.
Now, my grandmother would say, why are you telling everybody your business?
Right.
While it's a sad reality, several aspects of Jeezy and Jeannie Jenkins' divorce make it far from regular. Besides the obvious fact of the pair being celebrities, it seems there might have been a lot of stress on Jeezy to be a certain way. Now, we all know that marriage involves all kinds of sacrifices for it to truly work out, but it seems that with Jenkins and Jeezy, the rapper might have been the one who had to give up almost everything. Well, seeing as he's now out of the union with Jenkins, it seems he's giving the world details about who the celebrity host truly is as a wife and partner. That's right. Jeezy has now taken to the public stage, just like he did with detailing his life to the public with his book. He's explaining that there's a side to his now former wife that the world seems to have totally missed out on. What's more is that it seems to have taken such a toll on him that his exit was more about saving and securing his mental health than it was about him getting freedom. And now he's not holding back on why that even became his reality in the first place. This whole thing may not have been this much of a big deal if the man wasn't a hardcore rapper, but when someone with a life as turbulent as Jeezy's is saying they might have lived through hell with a partner, that will probably considered a big deal to most. There is also the fact that this man has told the story of his life once before, so much so that he seemed to have had one of best-selling books, so you can bet on it that everyone's listening to him. If you're also on that list, stay tuned till the end.
Well, I would say this. The thing that got me on my journey to healing is that I started to learn and understand what I was going through, because before that, I actually thought something was wrong with me.
Except you're living under an actual rock. There's almost no way in the world you haven't heard about the whirlwind of disasters that just struck the Jeezy, Jeannie, Jenkins household. For the people who have heard about the split between the pair, it almost seems easier to blame Jeezy for how things went down between the pair, but in reality, the case is not as simple as it appears. You see, while in most cases of celebrity splits, the men are usually quiet about what led to the split and are even the least likely to want the split in the first place, Jeezy seems to be a pioneer. Not only was he the person who wanted the split in the first place, but these days it seems the rapper is also spilling the tea about the sequence of events that led up to their separation in the first place, and suffice it to say those details are ugly.
And I didn't know I had trauma. I didn't know I was depressed. I didn't know I had that. I actually thought something was wrong with me.
Except you're living under an actual rock. There's almost no way in the world you haven't heard about the whirlwind of disasters that just struck the Jeezy, Jeannie, Jenkins household. For the people who have heard about the split between the pair, it almost seems easier to blame Jeezy for how things went down between the pair, but in reality, the case is not as simple as it appears. You see, while in most cases of celebrity splits, the men are usually quiet about what led to the split and are even the least likely to want the split in the first place, Jeezy seems to be a pioneer. Not only was he the person who wanted the split in the first place, but these days it seems the rapper is also spilling the tea about the sequence of events that led up to their separation in the first place, and suffice it to say those details are ugly.
And I didn't know I had trauma. I didn't know I was depressed. I didn't know I had anxiety. I didn't know I had post-traumatic stress. I thought these are all the things that we go through.
You thought it was normal.
But before we get to Jeezy's details, let's carry the people living under a rock along, shall we? Per the news, rapper Jeezy has filed for divorce from TV personality Jeannie Jenkins after 2 years of marriage. On September 14th, the put-on rapper, whose birth name is Wayne Jenkins, filed to end his marriage on Thursday in Georgia's Superior Court of Fulton County.
Jeezy files for divorce from Jeannie after 2 years of marriage.
And black women rejoice! Black women was dropping clues bombs all across the country.
According to the filing, the couple has been living in a bona fide state of separation, and their marriage is irretrievably broken, with no hope for reconciliation. The pair welcomed their first child together, a daughter, in January 2022. Jeezy and Mai began dating in 2018 and were married in March 2021. Now, Jeezy is seeking joint legal custody of their daughter, according to the divorce documents. The two also had a prenuptial agreement that Jeezy expects will be enforced, according to the filing. However, the biggest lone fact in this whole divorce news is that Jeezy didn't actually open up to Jenkins about the divorce. That's right, the man blindsided her, so the only way she seems to have gotten the news about the divorce at the time would have been from the courts. Ouch! Anyway, the news about their divorce had several fans trying to figure out what factors could have been responsible for their union not working out. To some, their cultural differences seemed to be what got in the way of their happiness. The user wrote, "Clearly they had a cultural indifference. Apparently, they didn't have an honest conversation on life's expectations, desires, wants, and needs from one another. Others seem to believe Jeezy might be jumping ship because his eyes have found a new apple." They wrote, "Usually when a man is so adamant on cutting off a relationship is because he has eyes or is with someone else. We'll soon find out, mark my words, speaking from experience." Some, however, also believe that Mai might have pushed Jeezy away herself without even realizing it. They wrote, "She's fighting to stay married because she doesn't want to be a single mother with a mixed child. That limits her options big time for her next high-value dude. Jeezy felt disrespected by her because she probably reverted back to her independent boss lady ways. That's not going to fly with a dude like Jeezy." While the possibilities seem to be endless, it turns out this user might have been closer to figuring out the truth about the pair than they realized, as Jeezy seemingly confirmed that Jeannie was indeed the problem in their marriage.
Now, my grandmother would say, why are you telling everybody your business?
Right.
According to the rapper, telling his story now seems to be an opportunity for him to be more honest with the general public about some of the struggles of marriage and how perception may not always be reality.
Well,
then why are you staying there? Yo, it's 2020.
It's about honesty and integrity, and I was very ambitious back then.
According to Jeezy, it seems his marriage was far from ideal, as the rapper also touched on having to deal with a lot of mental health issues while he seemingly believed he was trying to save his marriage. However, it seems that he couldn't hold up for much longer, as it might have been the main reason behind the rapper jumping ship. Jeezy's reaction to the whole thing has now left fans with even more questions, as several people have been on their toes trying to figure out what Jeannie could have done to have him not even talk to her about separation before serving her with papers. Turns out the pair had actually been struggling for a long time before the last straw was drawn. We just didn't notice because Jeannie kept trying to paint the family to be in a perfect state, and it seemed to span to the period before their wedding. You see, before they officially tied the knot, Jeannie had always been vocal about how having Jeez was the best thing that happened to her. During 2020's pandemic, the celebrity host spoke out about being in the house with her man. "We looked at each other at this time of the quarantine like, yup, if we can do this, we are gangster," she told ET at the time. "We're doing amazing." She also added, "I'm a super introvert, meaning I love quality conversations. I love intimacy. I love thoughtful presence for one another, so this is a dream for me and it allows me to focus on how to support people who need it out there," she added, noting she's learned Jeezy is such an inspiring person to be around. And after they got married, she took it up a notch, so much so that nearly 3 months after their intimate wedding, Jeannie shared with ET why being married to Jeezy felt 1,000% different. "Oh my God, married life feels 1,000% different than when we were dating in the greatest way," she said at the time.
Yeah. He's got his ways, dude. He helps me. He was like, so he
but you know what? I'll tell you this. We met here on this set, but you gotta hear the story from him because what he said still knocks me away today.
I loved our dating life because we really spent such concentrated quality time getting to know each other and making sure that we were right for each other. And now being married, it's even more handled with such delicacy and such thoughtfulness because we're in our 40s and we both grew up in households that weren't healthy marriages. We have never seen what that looks like. In fact, it seems that in a bid to maintain this seemingly false perception of reality, Jeannie even planned a whole trip with Jeezy, and you can bet that everyone was watching them while they were at it. Per the news, Jeannie Mai Jenkins had a special surprise in store for her husband Jeezy to celebrate their anniversary. "Taking my husband Jeezy to Vietnam was a long-awaited adventure," the TV personality exclusively told People. "When Jeezy and I met, we bonded over the similarities and differences of our cultures. Now that we have a daughter blending our worlds, it gives even more meaning to explore Vietnam together as a multicultural family."
For Christmas, I had gifted Jay with the surprise that I was taking him to Vietnam.
To explain to Jay where I was taking him in Vietnam, I made dioramas.
The Real Illume spent a year and a half planning the perfect customized experience just to mark the couple's second wedding anniversary. "I actually took a year and a half to plan this trip. Jeezy had no idea where we were going until we boarded the actual plane," she shares. "Our trip was very specific in that I wanted to try our hand at everything the locals do, from cooking and fishing to even farming. All I gave my husband was a list of what to pack, and the rest of the trip fell into place perfectly. Given Mai's character, it's safe to assume she was probably recording these moments as they occurred and sharing them online for fans to see their deep affection for each other. In reality, it appeared they genuinely loved each other, but this might have been what caused their problems in the end. Seeing as Mai had taken the initiative to plan that whole experience, it appears that Jeezy might have been pressured to keep up the standard his wife had already set for her fans. Speaking of fans, the trip with Jeezy had several people gushing about the pair. One fan who seemed particularly intrigued wrote, "Listening to how Jeezy proposed to Jeannie Mai. They were supposed to be holidaying in Vietnam, but lockdown. He set up his house in the theme Vietnam. Imagine the detailing, the decor, the lighting, the food, the music. Ladies never settle, period, TT. However, several..."
And things happen. You think you got somebody that you want to love for a lifetime, but then something happens and it just splits right down the middle. Okay, but that was my rendition of what happened. Okay, bye-bye.